Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I want to start a new little series. So I was thinking I really love like movies and series and just anything like that, and so I wanted to bring that to my YouTube channel in some way. So I think I'm gonna do like a little movie and makeup Monday, very much Bailey Sarian inspired, except instead of talking about true crime, murder and mystery like she does, I'm going to do movies. So before I speak any more about this, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start my makeup. So I'm starting with the eyes, but as usual, I'm not gonna speak about the products that I use really. I'm going to just leave them down in the description box. I feel like that will be easiest. As I said, very much Bailey Sarian inspired, but also I think the main thing that really prompted me to speak about movies on my channel is Straw-Eyed Goofy. He's Straw-Eyed Goofy on TikTok and on Instagram. I know he has like a Twitch and a whole bunch of other platforms, but the main platform that I like to watch him on is on TikTok. And I love his videos. I love his content, his whole page, honestly. I'm obsessed. I love to like watch the things that he puts out and like listen to what he says. And I feel like he has such valid like arguments, and I love the theories and everything. Long story short, I'm a big fan. So, in having said all of that about Straw-Eyed Goofy, he was also a really big inspiration to me and a really big reason why I decided to start this little series. So basically, I'm thinking I kind of want to just get consistent with posting on my YouTube channel. So Mondays will be movie Mondays, and Saturdays will be small business Saturdays, and that's kind of just what I want to try and do, just the aim. So hopefully that goes well, but like let me know if you like it or if you want to see something different or if you have any other ideas. I'd love to know. Right, anyways, so with that being said, I saw a video of Straw-Eyed Goofies on TikTok, and it was this video.
Here's some actors Hollywood tried really hard to make a thing, part 13?
So basically he speaks about actors that Hollywood tried to make happen. You know, Miles Teller, Justice Smith, Noah Centineo is all names that he mentioned in this video, and I feel like I kind of agree with him to a certain extent. But then he mentioned Tom Holland, and that's the part that I don't necessarily agree with. And so that's going to be the topic of this first video, is the work of Tom Holland. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the clip from Straw-Hat Goofy's video where he speaks about Tom Holland. It's not very long, it's kind of just right at the end. Little disclaimer as well, this is in no way throwing shade at Straw Hat Goofy. As I said, I love his account, the content that he creates, and I'm definitely a big fan. However, I just disagree with his opinion, and I wanted to chat about it. And there's no harm in that, and I'm gonna tell you what I think and why I think that. So I'm gonna insert the clip of Straw-Hat Goofy's opinion on Tom Holland.
Out. Tom Holland. I don't make the rules. Onward. Devil all the time. Chaos Walking. And Cherry were all released within like 10 months.
Right, so Straw-Hat Goofy speaks about a few different movies that Tom Holland has done. I do agree with Straw-Hat Goofy in the sense that it was quite a few movies. in a short space of time, you know, which kind of does make it seem like Hollywood is trying to like push these movies. At the same time, all of those movies that were done in a short space of time is also all, it was released during a global pandemic, you know? It's 2020 and the beginning of 2021. As we know, 2020 was a bit of a rough year for movies and for Hollywood. Um, so I feel like you can't exactly blame them for releasing them in such a short time. You know, when 2020 was a rough year and when things kind of started to go back to normality and they had a little bit of a chance to kind of just do their own thing and actually release movies again, I'm sure that Hollywood jumped at that chance. So I really can't blame them for releasing like 4 Tom Holland movies in, what was it, 10 months? And I think given the global situation, I can kind of give that a little bit of a pass. Right? But that's again just personal opinion. Right, so anyways, I definitely think that all of these movies being released in the space of 10 months is really just pure coincidence and up to the state of the world that we're in right now. I don't think that it's Hollywood pushing Tom Holland, but just to kind of like back up my point even more, I want to speak about some of his movies that he's done because I just genuinely think that he's a good actor. You know, I don't think that Hollywood has to push anything. I think that he has talent, he has range, and overall is just a good actor. So let's start by looking at the movie Onward, which is the first movie that Straw Hat Goofy mentions. Onward is an animation. It is a family film that was released in 2020. For anyone who doesn't know, it received fairly good ratings. The basic plot of the film is it is an animation film that follows two Alvin brothers, and they go on like a little mission to try and resurrect their deceased father for a day. So I haven't seen this movie. It is the only one on Straw Hat Goofy's list that I haven't seen. I don't claim to like know everything about movies. I'm also not a movie critic, but I definitely do enjoy movies, and I just happen to not have seen this one. So I did do just a little bit of research, you know, to get the ratings and things and see what other people thought. It seems like a good movie from what I can gather. I think it's really nice that he can do comedy and like a family movie, and that's like part of the range that he has, because a lot of the other movies is definitely not comedy or not necessarily family friendly. I also think that, I mean, he was playing alongside some big names. Other people in this movie were like Chris Pratt and Ali Wong, Octavia Spencer, and I mean, when you're playing alongside these big names, you can't tell me that he wasn't chosen to be one of the lead actors when clearly they have an A-list cast and they could have chosen anyone. You know, I mean, Chris Pratt and Octavia Spencer. So they could have chosen anyone else, but they chose Tom Holland, and I think that was for a reason. However, I will say I got the budget for this film was said to be between 175 and 200 million dollars, and in the box office it only made 141.9 million dollars. So that was a little bit of a flop in the box office. However, I have not watched this movie, so I cannot comment on that. But the next Tom Holland movie I have watched, so I can comment. But the next movie that Straw Hat Goofy mentions is The Devil All the Time, which was also released in 2020. Now, as I said, this is a movie that I have seen, so I can comment on it and give my opinion. And long story short, I like the movie. I think it's a good movie, and I think it's just another example of how Tom Holland shows range. Right, so The Devil All the Time is a thriller drama movie, you know. It's I can't remember the time period that it's set in. It's not a modern day movie. So it starts off following the father, played by Bill Skarsgård, on how he meets the mother and how they start a little life together and how they have a child, and that child ends up being Tom Holland. He goes through a little bit of trauma and like some hectic stuff. A lot of things happens. It's definitely packed with a whole bunch of things. Once again, a star-filled cast with Sebastian Stan, Robert Pattinson, Bill Skarsgård, Jason Clarke, Mia Wasikowska. I think that's how you say her surname. I apologize. But my point is that once again, definitely a star-filled cast. They could have chosen anyone. They chose Tom Holland for a reason. I think once again, he is a good actor. And I also think this is a good film. It got some good reviews. Actually, I shouldn't even say good reviews. I think it's kind of more average reviews. So IMDb gave it a score of 7.1 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes gave it 64%, which isn't good. Like, it's not great, but it's not bad either. Right, and I just think that it was a really dark movie. There was some intense acting in this movie. I think that compared to a lot of Tom Holland's other work, the movie was just really dark and showed a lot of range that he could do those kinds of dark movies. I think that the movie was really intense as well, and it had a few like different scenes, few different storylines. There was Tom's storyline, his parents' storyline. He had a sister and like her storyline. So without trying to give away too much of the movie, there was definitely a lot to follow. And I think that the movie kind of just kept you interested. Like, it kept you wanting to see the rest, which I think is good, and that's of course what a movie should want to do. Like, it should make you want to watch the whole thing and see what happens. So I thought that was really good. There is quite a few storylines, so you definitely need to like watch out for that and know what's going on, pay attention, So if you're looking for a movie to kind of just like watch to pass time and like not have to focus and put any effort on, I don't know, that's necessarily the movie for you. But I think in terms of Tom's acting, it was great. It showed that he can do something other than family friendly, just little comedic movies. I mean, Onward, very family friendly. He's very well known for playing the role of Spider-Man, which is obviously, once again, very family friendly. And I think that it's just really cool to see him in a role that's different to that family friendly role that he's so well known for. I feel like The Devil All the Time kind of just showed us that Tom can do more. It was kind of showing us that little bit of range, which I definitely think he's shown before in previous movies, but I think that now with him becoming a little bit more popular, which I definitely think he is, it shows that he can do a lot more than just Spider-Man. I don't know if I want to do line on this. I'm so scared that line is going to mess it up. So let's just leave the line out and carry on. Then, the third movie that Straw Hat Goofy speaks about is Chaos Walking, which was released in early 2021. And this movie I liked, I won't lie. Okay, so Chaos Walking is a sci-fi adventure movie, and as I said, I liked it. However, the movie did not necessarily get great reviews, and the critics didn't like it. Ooh, sorry, not used to doing this on camera. So the critics didn't love it. And of course, I'm no critic, but in my personal opinion, it was a good movie. So some of the reviews that it got, or the ratings, IMDb gave it a 5.7 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 22%. And I definitely don't think that it deserved a 22%. It was way better than that. Right, so without spoiling anything too much, it's Tom Holland lives on this distant planet. He is he's one of the settlers that came from Earth, and from Earth they came to settle on this planet and live there. So he lives in this male only colonization on the New World. Their little settlers camp is made up of only males. There's no females. And then the other little interesting part is that you can see their thoughts in this thing they call the noise. Don't forget to put foundation on your neck, kids, especially if you have uneven skin tone and redness and pigmentation like me. Anyways, so you can kind of see their thoughts in this thing called the noise, which is really cool. So whatever you think, other people can see, or other men. So I won't give away too much of the story, but basically then Tom Holland on this male only colonization on this new planet finds a girl, and they set off on their little adventure. So, and it's the first girl that he's seen since his mother passed away. He doesn't really know what, and that was when he was young, so he doesn't really know what girls are like. They're on an alien planet. It's tough out here for some of them, Whoa. So I nearly dropped my eyeshadow. That would have been bad. So yeah, that's the basic storyline. They go on a little adventure together. Okay, so as I said, the reviews for this movie were not great. Critics didn't like it too much. However, as I said, I thought it was great. So as I said, I however think that this is a good movie. I think that it was a bit of an underrated movie. I'm not a critic, so I can't speak for the critics, but I definitely think that this was a good movie and it deserved better ratings than what it got. I recommended it to my uncle, who also really likes to watch movies, and he loved it as well. So I mean, we're two little movie fanatics basically, and we both love the movie. So I definitely don't think it was a bad movie. I don't think that the ratings that it got was what it deserved. I don't think it's as bad as the ratings that it got. I thought that it was a good movie. It was very imaginative. I like the concept of the noise. I think that was different. If I'm not mistaken, this movie was based on a book, so it's not like the screenwriters came up with. Oh, I'm dropping everything today. Anyways, as I was saying, this is not some original concept thought up by screenwriters. It was a book, you know, that they turned into a movie, as far as I know. But I do think that it was very imaginative. I think that the movie brought out a lot of emotions in me as the watcher, which I think is really good for a movie, and it's what you want from a movie, you know? So, long story short, I think it was a good movie. My uncle watched it as well. He really enjoyed it. I think Tom Holland's acting in this was great. Once again, a fantasy thing. I think that with his young looking face, he plays young characters very well, which is to his advantage. But I think that that doesn't disadvantage him, and that he can play mature actors as well and really give some good character arc and character development in his movies. Okay, and so the last movie that was on Straw Hat Goofy's list was Cherry, which was also released in 2021. This one is like a drama crime movie. Um, Once again, the ratings are not the best. Um, IMDb gave it 66, 6.6 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 37. And once again, I don't think that it deserved ratings as low as it got. I thought that it was actually a good movie. I think out of all of the movies on the list, I think this might even be the best one. Wow, he's acting in it. I think the one thing that did put me off though, that I can't even lie about, is the narrating. Oh, I hated the narrating. Well, not necessarily hate it. I feel like hate is a very strong word, but I didn't like it. I don't like for a story to be narrated. I like to just watch it unfold. I don't like to be told what's happening. I like to see what's happening, and I feel like narration can sometimes take away from that. Not all the times, but I feel like in this case it did. So that's one thing that sucks about the movie, I suppose. And like, if I can say one bad thing about it, the narration took away from it. But I don't think that's Tom Holland's fault. I He didn't write it. He didn't come up with any of this. He's just the actor, you know. So I don't know if I can blame him for that. But it's just definitely a part of the movie that I did not enjoy. But once again, he was acting alongside Kiara Bravo. You cannot tell me that he wasn't specifically chosen for this role. And this is such a mature role, so much different. Like, this role, this movie even deals with a lot of trauma and, you know, real life things, trauma, PTSD, crimes, drugs. It's Tom Holland's acting is honestly just amazing in this movie, with all of the stuff that it deals with, and the fact that he's a 25-year-old actor just coming in and he's able to do all of this. I think it's amazing for someone as young as him. As I mentioned, he does have a little bit of a baby face, which works in his favor for younger roles, yet that did not affect this role at all, which I love. Am I just messing this up? I cannot even put my eyeshadow in the right place. But anyways, I think his acting in this movie is just amazing. Absolutely freaking amazing. As I said, this movie deals with a lot of like real life issues. So it was a very mature movie and a very, ooh, I feel like I'm gonna mess up my makeup, but a very mature movie and a very mature role to take on. It was really intense, and I think that the way that Tom Holland did it was just so good and really just displayed his talent, showing that like he can do that. Like, wow. I think that it was a very intense and mature role, and the fact that he was able to do it just says a lot about his acting abilities and how good he really is. So, if anything, I think that this movie just really shows how good of an actor he actually is. Okay, lashes are on. I feel like I'm doing my makeup in a really weird order today. This is normally not the order I do my makeup in. So, as I said, there's a lot. Those those movies on Straw Hat Goofy's list, I thought are amazing. Definitely display his acting abilities, shows how good he really is, and I feel like you can't take that away from him, you know. Which I mean, Straw Hat Goofy is in no way saying that Tom is a bad actor. He's just saying that Hollywood's trying to push him really hard, and I don't think that's the case. Um, I think that he just has amazing work. But if we look at even his other work, like Spider-Man, like he plays this teenage boy that's like about 10 years younger than he actually is in like a fantasy world, which he's done fantasy before, and he does it so well, you know? And I mean, a lot of his, especially his popular movies, get such good ratings. Like the two Spider-Man movies, so he's done the two so far, and then a couple of Avengers movies. He's done Spider-Man Homecoming, which was released in 2017, and it got really good ratings. IMDb gave it a 7.4 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 92%. And I mean, that's high. How often do you see Rotten Tomato scores that are actually that good? I feel like Rotten Tomatoes gives a lot of like lower to average movie scores, and the fact that Rotten Tomatoes gave it such a high score means something to me. Even looking at Spider-Man Far From Home, that was released in 2019, and once again it got good reviews. IMDb gave it a 7.5 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 90%. And once again, those are really good ratings. I mean, especially for Rotten Tomatoes. I did mess up my blush a little. I tried to fix it, but oh well. So now that I've actually spoken about Tom Holland's movies and why I think they're good and why I think he's a good actor, let's get back to the point. Because Straw Hat Goofy didn't necessarily say that Tom's a bad actor. He just said that Hollywood's trying to push him a lot. Which, if they are, it makes sense. He's a good actor. He's got great movies that don't always have the best ratings, but when they do have good ratings, I mean, 92% from Rotten Tomatoes. So I also just want to add that I don't think Hollywood's trying to suddenly push Tom Holland. He's been the main actor in almost all of his movies. Like, he's doing well, he's getting good roles. But he's also been professionally acting since about 2006. He's not new to the game and just suddenly coming in and, trying to just be like a character that's just there. He's been in it. He's now getting big roles and he's the main actor in movies. And I don't think he's doing badly. Like, he's doing well for himself and he deserves credit for that. And I'm not in any way trying to say that Straw Hat Goofy is discrediting him for that. But I definitely don't think that Hollywood's just trying to push him. He's done well. He's a good actor, you know? I have to do lips now. And I have no idea if I can do lips and speak at the same time. So, I might just do lips and come back and finish off. Also, so like I said, Tom Holland has been in this for a while. He's done other movies like The Impossible that came out in 2012. That was just heartbreaking. Anyone that's seen it knows. He also did In the Heart of the Sea alongside Chris Hemsworth that came out in 2015. And he's definitely not new to the scene. He's even done like a range. He's been in musicals. He's done voice acting as like the movie Onward. If that wasn't obvious, that's voice acting. He's done Spies in Disguise, which came out in 2019. He was also in The True History of Puss in Boots, which came out in 2009. Like he's been around and he's done a whole bunch of different things. So I definitely don't think that like he's a new kid on the block and that Hollywood's suddenly trying to push him because he's like this new thing. I think that he's such a good actor and he definitely is so well suited for the roles that he plays. He does such a great job. I mean, I definitely don't think that it's great that all of his movies just came out, like 4 of these movies in the space of 10 months. It definitely does seem like Hollywood's trying to push him. But as I said, given the global situation, I can't blame them for that either. I mean, I'm sure that if Hollywood could have released movies as normal in 2020 and even the beginning of 2021, things might have been different. But you know, given the global situation, I feel like you can give that a pass. Plus, even though the movies that were released didn't necessarily have great ratings, personally, I don't feel like they were bad movies. I thought that they were all really good movies. And then he had really good acting and showed great range and some really intense acting in some of them. And I think that he deserves those spots because he can play those roles that he was cast to play. So once again, I'm in no way hating on Straw Hat Goofy. I love his content and I'm a follower and a fan, so in no way hating, but I just disagree with the Tom Holland aspect of it. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm definitely gonna try this again. I think I might do it differently. Some days I might talk about movies, some days I might talk about series, some days I might talk about actors or actresses. It just depends. I'll probably be switching it up every week, but let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any movies that you want me to like talk about or review, and I'll see you on Saturday for a little small business Saturday. Thanks for watching.